All right, let's start with the nation. Federal government ASUU on war path over unmet demands. Opposition mounts against zonal law school campuses. Terror finance in EFCC to beam searchlight on NGOs, says Bawa. Gunmen kill 15 in Sokoto community attack. NCC Iranian hackers targeting telcos and ISPs. Inflation falls from 16.36% to 15.99%. Okay, which story? Major headline, please.
We do ASUU. Okay, so academic activities, they say, may be paralyzed in public universities because ASUU had issued a threat, a 3 weeks ultimatum to the federal government that if they do not complete all the meetings, all the memorandum of, what's it called, all the MOU, at the end of the day, everything that they had agreed to do, if they don't continue, if they don't start doing it, they are going to go on 3 weeks strike. But the federal government is saying that this money we're talking about, that's for the revitalization fund. Let me first of all mention some of the things they are, fighting for. Say funding for the revitalization for public universities, payment of earned academic allowances, payment of outstanding promotion arrears, and renegotiation of the 2009 ASUU federal government agreement. So they are saying that the federal government is saying through the Minister of Labour and Employment, Ngige, that they had already paid the 30 billion for the revitalization fund, and it's with the banks that what the ASUU needs to do is to go back to their primary employers to get this thing sorted, that they have already concluded on how the monies were going to be shared to the universities. That is not in their power. ASUU, on the other hand, is saying that you have not paid anything. They've not received any payment. They've not received any money. They've not received, they're still fighting the inconsistency of the IPPIS and the UTAS payment platform that they wanted. They said they have not seen anything, and that Nigerians should hold ASUU, the federal government, responsible for this strike that they are going to embark on. That they relaxed the strike because parents and public holders were appealing to them because of the fact that their children had lost opportunities not going to school. But now that the federal government hasn't done anything about it, they are likely going to go back in 3 weeks. Okay. I really do not know where to start begging who from right now.
All right, let's pick another story.
Yeah, so in Sokoto State, 15 people have been killed by bandits. Two local government area, the governor confirmed this, says that the bandits, this happened Sunday evening and Monday morning. And, as usual, he condoled with the family, and we understand that the security operatives are on it. Then in Delta State, 11 people were kidnapped, but thanks to the prompt response of security operatives, all of them were rescued. One person was shot and in hospital recuperating. In Niger State, another 4 persons were abducted by bandits, and we hope that they are found. So that's our story now.
Okay. That's another one more story?
Yes. The law school story. So according to Nation, Senator Smart Adeyemi has sponsored a bill titled Legal Education Consolidated and Amendment Bill 2021, which seeks to provide 6 additional law school campuses across the country. And this has been opposed by some other senators asking him why. Why is the Senate the one to provide additional law school campuses? The Nigerian Bar Association is also questioning that the body of benchers and the Council of Legal Education are all worried that this is not the right of the Nigerian Senate to do. Senator Kwere Madu clearly opposed to it, saying that the business of the Council of Legal Education, it is their business to propose or build new law schools, and not that of the Nigerian Senate. They should focus on the other important things, which I totally agree on. I think we already have too many. The business of law school is still as sacred as it used to be. Additional campuses, we already added to the Lagos and Abuja campus. We have one in Enugu, Kano, and all of that. We don't need to proliferate the entire state with law school campus as if it is a secondary school university.
Moving on quickly now to The Punch. ASUU threatens fresh strike, says agreed 22 billion allowance unpaid. Bandits want education facilities for children to drop, says Gumi. Metal electrocutes lady in Obi Kudawan's club. Police order autopsy. Ikoyi building engineers unveil preliminary reports, suspect structural distress and others. Outrage over Osun lawmakers' Semovita empowerment campaign for Adeleke. NSAS, 9 confirmed dead at Lekki toll gate, says Lagos panel. 4 banks borrowed $6.2 billion from foreign markets amid dollar shortage. And FG orders probe as Nigerian wrongly jailed in Cote d'Ivoire dies in prison. Okay, major headline. Who has that story? Okay, we already have took us to. Which other story?
Yes, I have the human interest story. So a lady identified as Susan was electrocuted by the Hustle and Bustle Club in Aminu Kano Crescent area of Wuse, Abuja. The restaurant is co-owned by Obi Kobana. So somebody took to his Twitter page ranting that the incident happened and the girl was electrocuted by there's a metal floor. And the management did not accompany her to the hospital. They did not report the matter to the police. So they went into so he drove in with some family members and got to that place. They were refusing to present the CCTV footage to them, saying that it's the manager that's in charge of it, and the manager was sleeping for several hours, like he was having his beauty sleep. So at the end of the day, they finally got the CCTV, and they found that she was actually electrocuted by the metal floor. So, but the management is saying now that they have to close down the club for a bit to mourn and sending their condolences to the family. So, and investigations are ongoing, and autopsy reports, they will be expecting an autopsy soon to know what exactly happened.
Okay, so Shegumi has he on a tour of Shegumi, of a school built by Shegumi Mosque Foundation. So this school is a center designed to educate headsmen. And he was on that tour, he was saying that this center, if replicated across Nigeria, will really help with the banditry, in the north. He says that because he's spoken to most of these bandits and they're willing to drop their arms if government can assure them that their children will get education and basic amenities. He says a lot of the money that we put towards military, what we need to do is find the root cause and put money towards it, and that once there's education and basic amenities, people will not pick up arms. He says these people come from a pool, and we need to drain that pool, and we can drain that pool with education. So this center that he has built, or the foundation has built, if replicated across the country, it would really help in our war against insurgency.
Okay, you have the Ikoyi building?
Yes, Ikoyi building. So the Nigerian Institute of Structural Engineers have, through their president, Dr. Kehinde Osifala, have stated that during their summary findings, they were doing a public presentation on their preliminary investigation of the Ikoyi building. And he says that there are clear indications that several designs brief changing on the project, and engineers' management of these changes appear to have been seriously inadequate. He said this building was initially designed for 6 floors. It was moved to 12 floors, further moved to 15 floors. And, they don't have any clear instruction of us as to how it was increased further, and they didn't meet any of the requirements of the law. He says that insurance companies should subsequently start demanding that structural engineers are on site before they go ahead to do any form of insurance for such companies, for such buildings. Sorry.
All right, moving on now. Okay, we're going to go on a quick break first before we move on. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Moving on now to Daily Sun. Lagos #EndSARS panel awards 409.7 million naira to 70 petitioners. ASUU threatens fresh strike, gives federal government 3 weeks ultimatum. COVID-19 fake vaccination certificate now in circulation, says federal government. Kalu Tinubu others warn Sani Dangote. Government strike traditional rulers' home in Benue, kill son and abduct daughter. Death of Nigerian in Cote d'Ivoire sparks outrage, and CGC places prison officials on red alert for the Yuletide season. Okay, so there's a report that is circulating right now, which is the Judicial Panel Inquiry Report that we've all been waiting for. And based on this report that we've seen, we're still waiting for the official release from the government. But right now, obviously, it's on social media. And there are 5 key things that the report did say. The report did acknowledge that the Nigerian army was invited to intervene, and saying that the army actually, let me have it here, let me see the quote here. It says the army shot, injured, killed unarmed, helpless and defenseless protesters without provocation or justification. Secondly, the panel did acknowledge that they found that the Nigerian police also deployed officers to shoot, assaulted and batter unarmed protesters, which led to the injuries and deaths. Thirdly, the panel also found that the LCC hampered investigation by not providing video footage of the Lekki toll gate on the night of the 20th of October. Fourthly, the panel also found that there was an invitation of the Nigerian army by the governor, obviously, but it was deployed by the Nigerian army themselves. And fifth, the panel found that there was an attempt to cover up the incident by the cleaning up quickly of the scene of the investigation. So that's a summary of what was found, and they get about 32 recommendations. I think the governor has said they're going to come up, has set up a 4-man panel to come up with a white paper within 2 weeks. So we await that and then be able to discuss and have a more wholesome conversation, because I know Nigerians are waiting to have this conversation. Yeah. Trust me, we are all eager to have this conversation, but we will wait for the white paper to come out and then take it up from there and have a proper, robust conversation on this. But it's interesting that it's the panel report is out and we know exactly, and it was not, and I must acknowledge that the government set up this panel to investigate, because, you know, there's always this position that we want to cover up. But I'm happy that this panel was allowed, because in the Abacha season, I mean, the Babangida threat, you can never have this kind of report come out. So I'm happy that this report came out and it was not hampered.
If you read the report, all sides of it, there's a balanced way they took the report.
Yes.
Based on evidences seen.
Yes.
The Honorable Justice Chairman, there was the chairperson of that panel, did a good job using the facts before them.
Yes.
Facts not available. They found out why they were not available, why they could not be accessed, and they reached a report that seemed to be totally independently reached. That's what I appreciate about the panel.
And they gave about 25 million
recommendations, go ahead. And I hope that's would.
They gave about 25 million to the deceased, 15 million to those who are assaulted and injured, and I think about 10 million or so to others. So
they also indirected individuals.
I think what is most important is the acknowledgement that people were killed on the day.
Which is the big question and the big elephant that was in the room since DJ Copy made this allegation. DJ Switch made this allegation in the early debate. I'm happy that at least now, based on this report that is circulating, that it is obviously she was telling the truth.
So the federal government, has been raising alarm that there is a black market for illegal vaccination certificates, and people are already patronizing, and they are warning. They said they got an intelligence report and they have investigated. They found some people culpable already, and they are going to be prosecuted seriously for this. They are warning other people, saying that there is no need for you to get that illegal vaccination. Just go and take your vaccinations. And if there's any need for them to test the cards, that you cannot run away, because they have data of all the people that have been vaccinated. The presidential chairman of the Presidential Steering Committee also is saying that they are rolling out plans to ensure that 50% of Nigerians would have been vaccinated by, I think, February 2022. They are working towards that. Plans are underway. More vaccines are coming in. But we should also take care, because they said they are monitoring other places and they are noticing that the virus is still very much around. We should also, follow the protocols, the measures, the social distancing, wearing our face masks. And
let's move on quickly now to Vanguard. So let's find a story of not taking COVID-19. FG set 2022 deadline to end pandemic, laments high fatality. APC, Buni Marafa's feud gets messier. Mental health chat room debuts today. FG provides 656 billion naira bridging facility for states. UK raises threat level after Liverpool bomb blast. 50 insurgents killed in Borno counter-offensive after general's death. Okay, which story are we taking?
I don't know whether you read that, provides 656 billion naira bridging facility for states. So according to the Minister for Finance, Zainab Ahmed, the federal government and the president has approved this amount of money to cushion the effect of the resumed bailout deductions from states' allocation that will be going on. And she said that this would last for a period of 6 months to assist the states.
Yes, so the federal government, too, has set 2022 as the target year to end the COVID-19 pandemic, and that there's going to be a summit next month to review the targets set on the pandemic. They're also, complaining about the increase in the COVID-19 case fatality ratio, although they blame it on vaccine hesitancy, late presentation of the cases, and other factors. And it's in the same event that they were talking about the unscrupulous people collecting fake cards as well. He says that Nigeria has lost nearly 3,000 people to the pandemic, but the government said that poor record keeping, especially in rural areas, may have, distorted the numbers a bit for us, because we know that it will be higher if record keeping was, done well, and especially in those areas. So we're hoping if the summit meets, we would know what the target is for, ending the pandemic as it is right now in our country.
Okay, moving on to the Nigerian Tribune. NSAS panel establishes killing in Lekki. Government set up 4-man panel on white paper. 7 burnt to death in Lagos-Ibadan expressway crash. Court rejects Lagos PDP from secretariat over unpaid rent. 3 years after daughter's gruesome death, mother suffers same fate. Makinde directs withdrawal of doctored local government appointees list. North, with highest indexes of social challenges bedeviling Nigeria, says Jega. Journalist death, family says police, IRT, SWAT reports confusing. Council of Legal Education, NBA senators reject proposed establishment of 6 law school campuses, and ASUU threatens fresh strike. Okay.
Yeah, so the journalist, Mr. Salem, that we've been talking about, that his body was found, during a condolence visit to the family, his older sister says that she is not convinced because she's getting conflicting reports from the IRT and SWAT, and that the police had said on TV that they had identified the body, and they haven't. There's a report that says that the body was packed in a bag, and then another, that shows that the body was burnt. So what exactly? And she's saying she's seeking justice for his child, and says for every one of us, journalists, we should take this seriously, that yes, it has happened to him, but if justice is not, properly carried out, this person can go ahead and do this again. She says she's not accusing any one person, but it's important that whoever did this should be found and prosecuted, just for our own sakes as well, and justice for his daughter.
So a 60-year-old woman, Mrs. Ajayi, who lost her 20-year-old daughter 3 years ago. I remember we took that story on the show. The daughter had an issue with the boyfriend, and then she was raped in the house. Nothing was taken, and stabbed to death with kitchen knives.
Yes.
Yeah, so 3 years, she had to move out of the house. She just moved back in a year ago with an adopted daughter, just to recover from what has happened. Last week, the same fate met her. So these unknown people, broke in through the roof into her room, stabbed her multiple times, killed her, then used clothes from her wardrobe and covered her. So according to her daughter, she said she went to her room in the morning to look for her for their prayers and didn't find her. Then raised an alarm, and they found her covered. She was already dead in blood and everything. So some family members are talking to the police and saying that there may be a link between her daughter's death 3 years ago, because she died the same way, and herself. And so the investigations need to be conducted properly to ascertain the link between the two deaths, because they are very similar. The people who killed her did not take anything, any property from the house. And the first time that happened, they accused the boyfriend, who was taken to court, went to prison, but then was released because probably lack of evidence. He said he had no hand in it. But the mother at the time reported that the boy had been pressuring the daughter for sex, and she refused. So she spoke to him to say, can you calm down, give her some time, and then he caused something else. So he was suspected, and now he's been released. So they're trying to find a link, but I think the police should do their job and see how they can trace.
Okay, any other story that we've not taken? Then that's all we can take. Let me just say, The Guardian, inflation decelerates, defies market reality. Government gets 3 weeks to meet ASUU, and local airlines order 16 new aircraft at $1.2 billion at the Dubai Air Show. While some of us are crying here, some people are still going to Dubai Air Show ordering aircrafts.
All hands are not equal.
All hands are not equal.
Fingers are not equal.
I mean, all fingers.
Even the hands, my left is longer than my right.
All right, that is all we can take on the show. As I said, there's so many hot topics today. There's the issue of the judicial panel inquiry, which I know Nigerians want to talk about. There's also the issue of the brutality of a naval student, which is trending on social media. And there's the issue of the young girl that died in custody at Côte d'Ivoire. These are key topics that Nigerians want to talk about. But we're going to go on a break. When we come back, we'll start with one of them. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.